What if Naruto was OP but neglected part 6? Let's go. Naruto is now crowned a Chunin and given a Medal of Honor to signify his winning of the Chunin exams. But before he can even leave the arena victorious, Minato stopped him. As he was nearing the gates of the arena, which served as the entrance/exit, Minato grabbed Naruto's shoulder, who was currently walking out, and said, "You're not leaving this arena with that medal. Is that clear? You're worse than any monster, tailed beast, or Jinchuriki. Even that sand brat Jinchuriki deserves it more than you. So give it, and we'll give it to somebody else, okay?" Minato was furious that not only Naruto snuck into the exams once more without anybody knowing, but he won. He took the medal. Naruto tried to trick around and play around with the situation to somewhat make Minato even more angry and see his wrongs. At this point, Minato tried to slap Naruto. That backfired. Naruto blocked the slap easily with one hand and now had a serious tone and look on his face. Minato now almost started whining, asking why Naruto would betray him. Naruto should stick to his own village, the Leaf Village. He should support his own people, the Uzumaki Namikaze clan, but also the others, the Uchiha, the Hyuga, and so on. And all the non-shinobi too, since he needs to be fighting for them. Naruto should have been on top of the hate, like a real shinobi, and harden it out, and become the strongest, with real methods, not become a monster like he is now. Minato shed a tear whilst screaming, "Why? Why me?" Naruto turned his back, and without saying anything, he left, walking at the same pace as he did normally, still with the medal around his neck. Gaara went with him, and after a brief talk and discussion about the fight they had just earlier, Naruto left and went back to his new village, the Hidden Cloud, along with his teammates, the temporary two Anbu, and his real team members, Killer B and Yujito Ni. After only 3 hours of travel, they arrived back and reported to the Raikage. The Raikage was happy about the results of the Chunin exams, especially that, well, Naruto won, giving the cloud a good name, and he got the title of Chunin, which is all they could have hoped for. Meanwhile, Minato was sitting in the Hokage's chair in the Hokage office, basically having a mental breakdown, being depressed about the situation that he's in. One of his sons is a monster who made his wife almost turn crazy forever. His daughter is way less powerful than she could or should with the kind of training that she had gotten by legendary shinobi such as the Hokage. And he can't be a father to anybody. He's the Hokage. And now he's hated by the Hidden Cloud and probably more as well. Naruto is now part of a village with 3 Jinchuriki, and happier than he would ever be in the Leaf. Only 8 years ago, Minato and Kushina were the happiest couple possible, soon giving birth to 2 children, which would change their life forever, mostly for the worst. Especially the night that they were born on, the night of the Nighttail's attack, which changed the whole atmosphere of the village forever. Naruto got some sleep, and then the next morning, Yujito knocked on his door. She asked if she could come in, and Naruto agreed. They both sat down on his bed. A little bit awkward. By the way, this is now a bigger house than the small shack that Naruto received from the Raikage. Naruto was able to afford this from the missions that he completed and the money he received for them. Yujito looked happy, but also serious. "What is it?" Naruto asked. I need to tell you something," Yujito said. By the way, Yujito at this point was 12 years old, no older, just so you know. "I love the way you fought in the Chunin exams." "That's what you wanted to tell me?" "No, of course not." Yujitsu said that after punching Naruto on the head. "I wanted to say, I think I love you, Naruto," Yujitsu said eagerly, waiting for a response whilst blushing. That's what you wanted to say then?" "Well, of course. I love you too, Yujito," Naruto said. "What, really?" "Of course. You're just so beautiful." Um, thank you? Yujito responded shyly. By the way, wanna grab something to eat? I'm starving. I didn't eat yesterday evening. I probably should have before going to bed. Well, sure then, let's go. So they go and get some food, since they have the money to get whatever they wanted at this point. At this point, the tailed beasts are almost crying over joy that Naruto, from living in a forest abandoned, alone, left to die, Naruto has now found someone so special in his life that he cares about, invites to eat, and has fun with. Not just that, but the whole village actually accepts him as a person. They grab some food, and Naruto, when looking at the bill, is surprised and asked Yujito if she really ate that much. Yujito punched Naruto on the head again and says that she needs to eat those calories to stay in shape and healthy, and that she didn't actually eat that much because the training would negate it. So it's fine, she wouldn't get fat. If you say so. Naruto pays the bill and they go for the walk. They have some free time because they're currently off shinobi duty. Naruto asked if she wanted to go to an amusement park, a little ways away. Yujito agreed since she hadn't done something fun for a while, especially not with Naruto, which at this point could invite her to do anything and she would agree. Naruto told the shinobi guards at the gate that they were leaving for a while, and so they walked through the forest, and after about 10 minutes, they arrived at an amusement park. It was basically in the middle of a forest, which is why it had such a magical feeling. There are many attractions in the park, some more dangerous like a roller coaster, whilst others were much more romantic like the Ferris wheel. So, what do you want to do first? Naruto asked. Yujito grabbed his hand in response and rushed over to the closest roller coaster, dragging Naruto along. She had never been to one and wanted to experience it, since she had heard that it's very fun. They paid the fee and strapped themselves in, and the ride began. It went as fast as a kunai when thrown by a professional. The roller coaster was much faster than expected. It went at about 50 miles per hour, or 80 kilometers an hour. After they got off from the ride, Yujito's legs were kind of shaky, and at that point, she took one step. There was a stone in her way, however, which made her foot bend and twist in a way that hurt, which is why she fell down on the floor. "Are you okay?" Naruto yelled. "Yeah, I'm fine," she responded. Without asking, Naruto picked her up and carried her like a princess whilst looking into her eyes. They went to the Ferris wheel next, where they had much more relaxed time, and she was able to lie down on one of the benches inside. Yujito's foot stopped hurting that much at this point. They continued and went from ride to ride and had much more fun than expected. The sun was now setting and they started to make their way back when Yujito tripped on the same stone once again. This time Naruto was able to catch her before she fell down into the mud that was in front of her. Naruto carried her the whole way back to the village, same as he did earlier. She was safe and sound and felt better than ever. Naruto did tease her a little bit about being a high-ranking shinobi and Jinchuriki, but somehow still falling and stumbling over the same rock twice. Yujito was happy though, and if she knew that Naruto would carry her like a princess every time she tripped, she would do it much more often. They arrived at the gate, and the guards were surprised, but kinda liked it. The two prodigies of the Hidden Cloud seemed to have a relationship going, and they smiled at Naruto and gave him a thumbs up. Naruto smiled back and they let him in. Of course, in only a week, the whole Hidden Cloud now knew that Naruto of the Leaf and Yujito Ni are now partners and in a relationship. Even though that relationship is awkward at times, though Naruto handles the situations like a pro and is the leading figure, the dominant one, in the relationship. Whenever they would go out to get some food, everybody would be looking at them, interested in what they would do next, as they were the most promising children and young shinobi in the entire village. And everybody would smile at them, and sometimes even try to give them advice. Now Naruto, Yujito, and Killer Bee were once again, like normal, called to the Raikage's office to actually do some shinobi work. However, this was something special, an S-ranked mission. The three, along with 5 other strong shinobi and 3 Anbu, were all called to do this one mission. The mission? It was to capture 5 low Kage level fighters. One of these, one of the more known ones, was Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist. So they set out on the same day, and the other team members, even though they'd heard of Naruto's legendary strength, they were a little bit cautious. Taking an 8-year-old along on an S-ranked mission, that's not usually a good idea, but they trusted the Raikage's judgment, so they were gonna go along with it. They finally arrived at a spot where they could see all 5 of the Kage level fighters, who for some reason were all gathered in one spot. They had already made a strategy before they even left the village, which is why they immediately knew what to do and started their fight. The Jonin first rushed in with the help of the Anbu backing them up to try to apprehend as many people as possible, and after the commotion stopped about 10 seconds later, the advancing team, Killer Bee, Yujito, and Naruto, would continue and grab the others before they had a chance to escape or fight back. The strategy didn't quite work, because whilst Naruto was trying to get one of the guys, Killer Bee and Yujito were fighting another, but then Yujito was taken hostage, and the fighting immediately stopped. There were to be no casualties, especially not on the Hidden Clown's village's side. Yujito was just a young girl, even though yes, she was a shinobi. She was still a child, which is why even the quote-unquote bad guys didn't really want to hurt her, but it was their only way to get out of this situation. Don't hurt her, and we'll stop following you, okay? We'll go right back to our village, promised, Killer Bee said. I don't think you're telling the truth, Zabuza said. Perhaps we should take her with us as an insurance, one of the others said. What was that? Naruto asked. What, do you have something against it, brat? If I have something against it? Of course I do. She's mine, and mine alone. Is that clear? Naruto got angry and started releasing some of the tail beast's chakra. Not just theirs, but his own chakra started leaking out. It was worse than any of the tailed beasts. It gave everyone nausea from just feeling it, and some of them even felt disoriented. Naruto activated KCM2 immediately and rushed the hostage taker, and immediately jabbed a kunai through his stomach, fatally wounding him. Then the fighting continued, and Naruto was able to, on his own, take out 3 of the Kage level fighters. But the thing that mattered to him most was that Yujito was safe, and she was safe indeed. She was pretty scared, but she'll be okay. No injuries. So, the results of the battle was 1 fatality on the opponents of the Hidden Cloud side, but nothing else. The other 4 were taken prisoners, and were then questioned about their plans and everything to do with them. The Raikage was pretty happy at the results, though he doesn't want Yujito to get in any trouble, which is why he was thinking of perhaps he was overestimating her. Perhaps she isn't quite ready for these kind of missions yet. He didn't say anything out loud though, he would have to overthink it, perhaps even asked Naruto or Killer Bee, who had a lot of experience fighting with her side by side, and could probably determine her skill best. Especially Naruto, who recently was getting more and more closer to her, though at least Naruto was there to save everyone. And at this point, Naruto and Yujito decided to take a break from their shinobi duties. Yujito would continue training and training harder and training with Naruto, since she knew that way she would get much more powerful too. And Naruto could even teach her something about Matatabi, her tailed beast, which she couldn't quite control yet. even though Machatabi was a very kind, not very stressful, angry, or hateful tailed beast. And Naruto, and of course Yujito as well, would continue the relationship and deepen their bonds. However, that doesn't mean Naruto would stop training. He would continue his practice and perhaps try new things, learn new jutsus, and deepen his bonds with the tailed beasts even further. However, the thing that they wouldn't do is do any shinobi missions, or any work at all. They requested a training period and it was granted to them with no question. They were still young, and so having them basically drop out as a shinobi now for 1 or 2 years would benefit the whole village a lot in the future, which is why it was basically an investment. So the Raikage personally had a certain budget and funded their next few living months and years. So if you haven't figured it out yet, this is where the Shippuden time skip happens. And I'll end it here. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace! Oh, and join my Discord, by the way.